So I am now 1 year out of being a college student, and looking back at my old journal entries, there are so many things I wish someone had told me before I ever stepped foot on campus. Things I know now that would have saved me stress, helped me enjoy college more, and probably changed the way I approach those 4, or in my case, 6 years. So this video is exactly that. This is what I wish someone had told me before college. Starting with the first lesson, college can be tough, but it's not impossible. One thing I remember about the very first day of actual college, the first day after our week-long orientation, is that it was a really tough one for me. But the day actually started off really well. Many of my new friends and I met before our first class at 9:30 in the morning, and pretty much the entire 500-person class fought for the front seats. So clearly we were all very high-achieving, YouTube-watching students trying to start off on the right foot. And honestly, that pattern continued for my next class, and my next class, and my next class. But then something started happening. My planner, and honestly my mind, just got busier and busier and busier. I remember my calculus professor giving us a bunch of assignments over a topic that none of us even understood yet. And I remember thinking, am I actually ready for this? Then, because something happened and the school didn't realize that I already earned a credit for my AP test score for econ, I was enrolled in a class that I didn't need to be in, and wasn't enrolled in one that I did need to be in. So I had to add a speech class in at the last minute. And at the time, I was terrified of public speaking, so imagine freshman year me being thrown into that. And to make things even better, that class started at 7:30 in the morning. That left one of my Wednesdays running from 7:30 a.m. until 7:20 p.m., essentially with back-to-back classes. All of that hit me on the very first day. And I vividly remember walking back to my dorm, calling my dad, talking about how awful that first day felt. It didn't feel like how I imagined it at all. And I was right. I imagined college to be this incredibly liberating, fun time of my life with very little responsibility. But just like with everything in life, it exacts a cost. College is hard, especially those first few years for me, but it's not impossible. The first day set the bar quite low, and truthfully, it definitely got far worse for me academically. Your boy had some really tough classes early on, but I made it. I not only survived, but I eventually learned how to thrive. Point is that we, as humans, are incredibly adaptable to our environments. We get used to situations that once felt impossible, and before you know it, those things that overwhelmed you at the beginning become part of your normal routine. It's not easy, but it's doable. It takes perseverance, different strategies, different mindsets, and sometimes a little humility when you realize that what worked in high school might not work anymore. But if you keep showing up and keep learning, you'll eventually surprise yourself with what you're capable of. So if your first few days of your first semester feel overwhelming, don't mistake that for failure. Sometimes it's just the beginning of growth. And the next lesson is the quality of your relationships matters more than the quantity. In college, you'll make a ton of friends. It's honestly unbelievable how easy it is to be social in that setting. And especially initially, you're going to have some really funny friend groups. These will be people you truly have no business hanging around, but that's the fun of the start of college. You're all trying to figure it out. But it's important that you recognize who is a good influence on you and who is a bad one, because who you are around will shape how your experience is. Like, it's nice to be around fun and exciting people, and you'll definitely meet a few who are that way. However, it's also important to know your limits and to remember what your number one priority is in college: to attain your degree. So if people around you are constantly pulling you away from that goal, it's okay to create a little distance. Now, truthfully, there will only be a handful of people who will stick around for the entire 4 years of your undergrad. And I was lucky to have maybe 10 or so of those people I knew from freshman year all the way until senior year. But that's not always the case. And especially for me, I had to learn that the depths of your relationships relies on how willing you are to open up. For a majority of my college relationships, I kept to myself and just participated in the present conversation. My friends would open up about things, but I've never been one to talk about what I'm going through or what I'm thinking about deeply. But when I spoke about that to one of my good buddies before I graduated, he told me something I will never forget. Sadness shared is sadness divided, and happiness shared is happiness multiplied. Surprisingly, there will be people you meet who who earn the right to know you. Don't tell everyone everything, of course. Trust is something that's built over time, but don't spend your entire college experience hiding who you are either. Looking back, some of the deepest friendships I made only became that way once I was willing to share a little bit more about who I was and what I was thinking. It turns out that real friendships aren't built by having the most conversations, they're built by having the most honest ones. So be intentional about who you spend your time with. Find people who challenge you, encourage you, and genuinely want you to succeed. And when you find those people, don't be afraid to let them know the real you, because those relationships might end up becoming some of the greatest parts of your college experience. And the final thing I wish someone had told me before college is this: you get out what you put in. College is one of those places where, funnily enough, the effort you put in has a way of coming right back at you. If you invest in your classes, you'll learn. If you invest in your friendships, they'll grow. If you invest in different clubs, hobbies, and experiences, you'll have memories that last long after graduation. But if you spend your 4 years simply trying to get through each semester, that's probably all you'll get out of it. If I could go back and tell my incoming freshman self just one thing, it wouldn't be to buy a different laptop or study one extra hour. It would be to appreciate the people, the moments, and even the difficult days a little more. Because one day, without realizing it, you walk out of your last class, and those ordinary days will become some of your favorite memories. I still have countless little videos from college. Walking to class, sitting around, eating lunch, laughing with friends during our Friday dinners, random moments that didn't seem important at the time. But now, they're some of my favorite memories. It's probably trite wisdom, but I truly mean it when I say, enjoy every experience, even the ordinary moments. Eating lunch with the same friend for what felt like the 100th time, walking the same path to class every morning, studying together before an exam. Those moments don't feel special while you're living them, but one day they will. Now, don't get me wrong. Life after college isn't bad. I love where I'm at now, but it's not the same. College is one of those seasons of life that you only experience once. So be present, work hard, and spend time with good people. Because before you know it, you'll walk out of your last class, and those ordinary days will become some of the most extraordinary memories you'll ever have. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Peace.